Hey, how we doing, homies? It's time for more Cosmonarchy. Kasuga will take on Jakulangski in this PVZ set. Jakulangski, obviously the more experienced player. But this is actually 2 games, so after the end of this one, I will throw the scoreboard up and tell you who won this one, of course, and then we'll go into the second game all in one video. You know, I felt like treating you guys to a quick series here, and obviously there are quite a few players playing, some of them new, like Kasuga, some of them a bit more veteran, like Jakulangski. Looking forward to seeing them all try out in Acropolis number 3's exciting new stage, the Tribunal stage. It's a single elimination bracket, playoff style, but single elim instead of double. And it's definitely going to be a fun one because we are going to see who can qualify and skip out on the gauntlet stages. That's right. If you win enough games in this tournament, in this little mini bracket here, you qualify directly to the battlements phase of Acropolis number 3. So it's very cool. You skip out on the heated qualifiers that happen. And so, yeah, top 2 in that tournament do that. Very cool. All right, Kasuga is going to be our Japanese Violet. Oh, is he actually Japanese Violet? Yeah, I'm going to say Japanese Violet. Oh, but it was Dark Lavender. See, I had reason to doubt. He's the Protoss in the top left. In the bottom right, we have Jakulangski. He is the Magma. No, it's Sunglow. Oh, man, I'm getting everything wrong today. The Sunglow Zerg. Don't worry, I'll redeem myself in the next video. Or the next game. There you go. It's going to be a lot of us going to pool. We saw Jakulangski scout pretty fast. He's gone for the scout down here, and he's going to go ahead and box scout, eventually finding Kasuga, who I think is also box scouting. Yeah, so they'll find each other second. It's going to be 2-gate from Kasuga. Jack's brood spawn. Hankering down here, and the Droleth slowly spreading the K-Gray in this direction. Bastion for Kasuga. Interesting. Kind of points towards maybe a tech rush of some kind. We'll see what Jakulangski goes for in response to that as the Zealot starts to chase him away. Oh, look at that. He actually is feisty. He's like, oh, you attack me, I attack you. Even though Broodspawn would never win this fight. So he scouts the pool. It's good information. Scouts a second Larvaska on the way as well. Also good information. The Zealot is going to move across the map, so he's not actually stutter stepping in to kill the Droleth. Obviously, that's a pretty easy thing to do. But, you know, you need to pay a little bit of attention there. You can see that's exactly what you have to do. And one more hit, and... Oh, no, he looked away. Oh, yeah. Almost got away. Dastardly. Well, I like that the Zealot falls away afterwards. It knows that there's probably something coming as revenge. Indeed, there are. Several Zethrakors leaving the base. Jack going to be drolling behind this. The Zeths won't be able to kill the Zealot, but Kasuga seems interested in going for an Expo. He's gone, so 2-gate, Sedent, Embassy, 3rd gate. So a lot of 1-base stuff happening with that. Also, kind of leaning into Ecclesiasts, which are less mineral heavy, which will allow him to afford his Nexus pretty fast. Also love that his Scribe is kind of hiding behind the minerals. He's actually really well practiced here. This is good fundamentals from Kasuga, knowing that, like, okay, I want my expansion potentially here. I know he doesn't end up taking it immediately, but also that my opponent might be counterattacking me. Even though it wasn't Zeth-tight, like, Jack could have just slipped in and tried to do some damage in the main base or whatever. Still ends up being pretty worthwhile to make that happen. He's going to sneak one Zeth in. It doesn't quite spot the Scribe there. Now it probably will. And, of course, that will be bopped immediately. Back behind this, Jack going for the Vornath. 1 base. Kagrin inside the mineral line wants to potentially turn that into a Circuith or a Spraith. More Zeths kind of hugging around here, but the Ecclesiasts will blast them out. And I guess in 200 minerals. Ooh, never mind. Stargate. Kasuga really, at this point, I don't think it's a mistake. I think he's constantly posturing. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is actually just forgetting that he keeps wanting to expand. But I think this is like, I'm trying to expand. I'm trying to take my nat. Which is kind of putting Jack in a bit of a corner here, right? He's like, okay, I'm going to try to contest you. The witness flies over. Jack has no idea. His camera's not here. He might have seen it just then. I don't know. But he definitely is going to be sighted here. And when you see Vorvs and you've got Zealot Ecclesiast, you know you can't move out, right? So Kasuga's actually going to fall back with the Scribes, right? Once again. Has the money for an expand, not making anything out of the gateways. So I wonder what he does actually want to do here. Maybe he's saving up for some of their tech or something. The Vorvs come in here. There's no Nexus. That will surprise them. They will see the Scribe, but they're not going to go after it. Instead, he's going to think about the ramp, but that's not really what's happening here. Second Stargate. Nathakor's on the way already. The Witness is out here, so this is definitely showing Jack, like, showing Kasuga rather that Jack is going for the right preemptive counter. You go Naths expecting air units usually. And so a land effect is on the way, which is an interesting choice as well. Nexus finally going down for Kasuga. It feels like Jack could win this fight. If he had a little bit more trust in himself, he could have surrounded those Ecclesiasts and killed them. That was an opportunity to force Kasuga back, but didn't want to trade down those units yet. Wants to keep his opponent on the other side of the map. I would love an Avaloth just to pick the witness here, but I'm not sure that Jack has noticed it. If he hasn't, that's something that he's going to have to train himself to do. Because it's not like it's being hidden, right? It's right there in the middle of it, so you can see the distortion effect. It is quite difficult to see. I know Jack plays stretched as well instead of native, so which is funny because I'm casting Counter-Strike now, and that's something that people do there too, so amusing. One Zeth has infiltrated at some point, burrowing, hiding. It will see workers moving across it, so good there. Now 2 land effects. This is like StarCraft 1 style. I'm going to make, 2 Stargate Corsair against your mutas. The Nats are coming in, but they're going to get preempted. It's kind of wild. I don't know if they played multiple games and this is just a selection or what, but it feels like Kasuga's already understood the assignment here. Jakulangski's style has been revealed. The land effect's already here. Oh, but he goes right after them. Oh no, Kasuga was not paying attention. 1 land effect is going to come out. 2 land effects are going to come out now. And one of them can disruption field. Oh no! It's happened again! Now that is an unforgivable, unforced error. The Ecclesiasts marshaling their forces here. Land effects started, but yeah, dude, that is rough. Because land effects can just disruption field and cancel all melee. So that would have been what you do. You force a weird split from the Naths, and then they can't really do anything. Zealots, meanwhile. Well, they're trying. They are trying. That pylon is going to go down. Zethvorv is going to punch this Zealot contingent down quite a bit. Nexus also being pressured. Yeah, these Zeths are basically toast. The Ecclesia is still trying to chase down the Naths. Those are Stargates now unpowered. The Zealot's completely crushed. Yeah, it feels like Jack has this in the game. Has this game in the bag. It's pretty much GG at this point. I don't see how Kasuga can come back from this position. He's going to actually take some damage over here as well to his units. This is without the Nathocores even being here. So yeah, his Ecclesiasts are going to start to fall. He should still narrowly edge out the fight because of the Ecclesia sustain, and he will. But that's still very, very costly, and now he doesn't really have what he needs to deal with this position either, right? There's more units coming from Jack. These are Hydras. There's no hope for Kasuga to really do much here. So even though Kasuga has understood the assignment, made the land effects, his execution not on point, not able to really do too much. That Zethon burrows just to add insult to injury. No, the Hydras are falling back. Jack could have won the game. Well, we'll be here for a little bit longer before Kasuga realizes he's totally screwed. Making some land effects now that his Stargate is repowered. Zethricore rather will die. The Ecclesiast's bopping it, battering it. More Hydras on the way. I don't know, dude. Even with this group of Hydras, Jack could have been killing the Nexus right now, forcing a GG. So maybe he just misread something there with his Naths. Like, sort of surprised at the number of units that Kasuga still had or something. Well, he reveals that he has Hydras, but he doesn't lose one. The Witness kind of scouting around, sees the Natural being saturated here. The Ski Back already complete. If Kasuga clocked that already, he's going to be in for a rude awakening. He does have more workers than his opponent, despite the harassment, but the harassment wasn't really about that. It was about the fact that, ooh, wait, hold on, hold that thought. Bactylisks are being hatched here. Needs to focus fire down individual Zealots or pick the Ecclesiasts. Dude, how is Jack in this position? He 100% should have just killed everything here. Nats are going to cause a little bit of hurt Fifis as the Scribes end up dying. The Skithrakors are with them as well. I guess like a little bit of Skith helps deal with the land effects, like force them to not just use their disruption. I don't know. The Hydras are going to try to defend the air units, which is a good move. This is going to send the land effects packing. Shout out to Balethal for the remodel, by the way. Oh, there's the disruption field. Now they got to fall back. I love that Kasuga does this. So they also disable air units. It's not just ground units. Maybe we'll end up changing that at some point, but, interesting stuff. Originally, it was only ground units, and it also obviously was just a field you put on a territory. It wasn't attached to the land effect itself. It also doesn't require energy. Another thing that might be tweaked at some point. Well, Zealot Ecclesiast land effect. It's not a composition you see every day, but Kasuga trying to make it happen. Nather cores, Skither cores, they are coming into a very unprotected base where Panoptises are being made. And now the land effects need to scramble over there, see what they can do. The Skither cores are going to absolutely run roughshod over the worker count here. The Nather cores helping to soften some of them up. And this gets after that juicy stack. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a dead worker stack for sure. Delicious. Well, Kasuga now very much underneath the economy of jakulangski. And it might even get worse for him. His skits are all stacked up, but doesn't matter. I mean, he's just killing workers left, right, and center. Down to 12 workers. Oh, 10 workers. Oh, single digits. GG. His army was caught in the middle of the map by all the Hydras and Zeths. That's it. Kasuga will need to go back to the drawing board, and we are going to go to game 2. I hate the thing. Kasuga doesn't have the best. Both. XD. And then what about the Gorg and the guy just leaves? That's Chad behavior. All right, GG's. We'll go into game 2 now. Kasuga on the warpath in game 2. Jakulangski said GLHF, and Kasuga said no. So he wants to defeat Jakulangski. He is not pleased with his performance in the previous game. And to be fair, he did throw away a bunch of Lannies, so that makes sense. Maybe he can do better in this game. Because it felt like he was in a position to potentially, kind of overturn it. I felt like he was kind of outplaying Jakulangski strategically in that first little stretch of the game. But then, obviously, the air shenanigans happened where the land effects went down in ways that they should not have gone down. And then Jack just won. So, not much else to say on that front. He is in the bottom left here as the, I'm going to say asparagus. But, oh, it's Celadon. You know what? I knew it before I even moused over. I realized, wait, no, it's too bright to be asparagus. Celadon Zerg in the bottom left. Kasuga is the ultramarine Protoss in the top right. So at least I got one color right in this series. With the pool coming after the Larvosk, Jakulangski is repeating his build from before. Kasuga going that 2-gate. Will he go fast Sedent again? We're not sure. No scout this time from Jakulangski. Instead, Kasuga is going to go ahead and box scout, it looks like. You can be a little bit more snappy with your worker movements, I guess, if you are against a Zerg player, because you know that the Kagra will be here, right? So you can just scout this far, and like if you don't see any Kagra by the time you reach like the top of the ramp or maybe this area or whatever, at that point okay, it's time. Start moving the worker somewhere else. Embassy on the way very fast here for Kasuga. No Sedent. Realizes that is a bit of a delay in the very, very early stages of the game. Second Larvosk. I like the Kagra spread here from Jack this time around. He's covering the ramp a little bit nicer. One thing that's kind of interesting, right, and shout out if you're still with us in the second game. I asked earlier, what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see 1v1s? Do you want to see team games? What kind of balance do you want? Always interested in that kind of thing as well. But one of the things that I'm definitely interested in is, like, how many of you guys are watching these casts to learn versus watching these casts just for pure entertainment? And, I'm sure it's like a 50-50 split for some people. They do both or what have you. Because if you're trying to learn, I think 1v1s are probably better for that. It's a bit more, microable. And plus, you can also, like, follow the build order a little bit easier by looking at the numbers up here in the top right. And the production tab and stuff, even if stuff that I don't comment on. Like, I didn't say that there was a Warden here, right? I will say that there's a Sedent. That's worth noting. Very fast Vornath as well. Jack still being his aggressive self. The patrolling Zealot, an interesting little flourish. More Zeths coming in. But yeah, if you're trying to go for entertainment, I do think team games and FFAs are pretty good for that. 1v1s are definitely good for learning build orders that you can then adapt to team games and FFAs, though. So, if you're just trying to learn about the game, probably do so at a smaller scale. 1v1s make more sense. Anyway, that will also be useful information if you guys tell me what your purpose is for clicking on these videos. Are you not entertained? Kasuga gonna go for that witness. He'll actually scout his Zethar core first. It's kind of funny. Not what he is in building it for. You can just stand on top of it to reveal it, but it doesn't look like he was paying too much attention. Fast Grand Library. Can we see Storm Drop? That was a strat for a while. I can't remember who was doing it versus Art of Turtle. But there was some Protoss doing it a lot. Maybe it was Arbuz doing Storm Drops quite a bit. It's weird because I think of Arbuz as more of the Acantor drop guy. Even though he's not the only one to drop Acantors, he's definitely the one that was doing it a lot in practice games an era ago. Maybe a few months ago or something. So, kind of interesting there. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm starting to think about narratives, about, like, tournament narratives. competitive narratives. I wonder if you're getting to that point where it's time to start calling Nebline the winningest player. Or the most accomplished player that's active right now. Mystery Meat has the most number of titles, but in terms of prestige of those titles, I mean, it only gets harder and harder. He was first place in Acropolis 1, second place in Acropolis 2. I don't think he'll be third place in Acropolis 3, but that would be funny if it happened for the memes. Then he'll never be able to not play Protoss, though. So, depends on if you guys like watching Nebline's Protoss. If you do, you should hope he loses. Anyway, this defensive setup is a little bit too tight there for jakulangski to do much on. He's going to try to heckle the Grand Library, but the Matrix is within range, so that's not going to happen. He is kind of pulling some forces away from the natural, and this is a really big Zeth Vor Flood. Oh, he's also been able to break through. Hold position needs, I think, 4, maybe 5 Zealots in a different location than what was happening here. The Flood is big. Oh, there's an Amaranth here, as well as the Hierophant. You really should not discount how powerful that can be. Ecclesiasts riposting the attack from the Naths. Not going to be able to do too much there. A lot of the front line still survives, although one Ecclesiast did go down. Another Burrowed Zeth. Very poetic. There's been a lot of those in this series of games so far. And Kasuga is taking his natural. Also, I just realized I never updated the overlay. So while we're watching Nethercore's tickle things... Oh, they're going to go after the Scribe! He's not going to put down his expansion. That's so sad. He's going to have to send another Scribe down. But while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and up our level here. And say that jakulangski indeed secured that particular match. Oh, the Zethercore took a hit. Cancels whatever that was. Engram in a weird location. Nexus on the way as well. But I guess that's fine. It still covers, like, everything that it needs to cover, I suppose. Jakulangski's natural has already been mining for some time. He switched into Hydras. His Vornath is complete, of course. Has been for some time as well. Iziracore. Okay. Getting a couple of those bad boys can help negate some of the Ecclesiast healing, so it's not a bad idea. Fast Ardent for Kasuga. Redundancy Pylon. I'm just kind of scouting around with the Nathacores. Just being annoying. Can't really threaten much damage. The Engram's about to finish. But he scouts the Ardent, right? He's presumably clicked on it to see what it is. In StarCraft 2, you can kind of see there's some telltale signs about the construction of each of the primary production facilities that you can kind of tell what those structures are without having to click on them. I don't think we're going to be able to do something like that in Cosmo. There's just too many structures, but definitely something that is interesting. And I wouldn't hate having unique construction animations for like the Terran stuff and all that and the Zerg stuff. I definitely want like one that's very distinct for tech, because I think that's worth doing for both Terran and for Zerg. Engram at the Nexus over here as well. Okay. Kasuga taking the air threat very seriously. Maybe a bit too seriously. Especially in this game where there's way less Nathacores. Ski back is complete. We're going to see the 7 ski backs on the front gate here. Now we do have Amaranth Zealot and, of course, the Atreus. The Atreus is kind of like a more powerful Dracodon in terms of its damage output. Very, very strong. Definitely want to see what else we can see here. This Ethercore has continued to spy on things. Where did that Witness end up? Does Kasuga even know? Because he definitely was making one. I certainly can't tell. Oh, there it is. Okay, so he sees the ski back. He should know that there's going to be Bactylisks. Matrix, Sedent. Okay. Really hunkering down on that natural is going to be a 2-base situation for Kasuga. Now, this game was played somewhat recently, but I know he's always grinding, and I'm sure that he's continuing to improve. If I had to give him one lesson here, I would say you definitely want to be a bit more proactive against Zerg. Because while Jack is very aggressive, a lot of other Zerg players, they're going to just take the fact that you're giving them all of this map control, and they are going to droll up, and, you know, you're making it too free for them, too easy. Okay. There's definitely a lot of Protoss here, and definitely a lot of Zerg here. But is there enough? Jakulangski is going to engage. Zealots, Amaranth, and Ecclesiasts, keeping the shields alive in the front gates. The Hydra count is a little bit low, so they're not really punching through much of the armor here. The Bactyl's trying to go down after those Ecclesiasts. That's only going to speed up the army of the Protoss for a big surround. I think at this point, it's obvious Bactylisks are not the answer to that particular composition. And this is kind of like the only thing that Jack had going for him. He has no Zorka Shroud, can't go Lakis, can't go Zoryus to try to keep the armor and debuff the attack speed or anything. Droleth for a 3rd base is kind of earmarked there, but Jakulangski not actually able to do anything with that just yet. Bit of a haphazard chase as a second witness arrives at the natural to see. That's where the Zorka Shroud is coming up, and of course, where the some defenses are there. More Hydra heavy army now. This is going to be much better at dealing with some of these isolated melee units. Yeah, this is actually going much better for jakulangski. He's clearing a lot of the front line. But the Akantor is here. Aziracore catches that first dodgeball. Oh, big impact there. That's a lot of softened up Hydras. Still, this army is unlikely to escape. Kasuga doesn't get a last Plasma Scarab off there. Plasma Shell. That's going to be a very, very powerful... Oh, no, his Akantor is on... Is it on a move command? No, it's on an attack command. But still, I think this is a dead Akantor. I don't think he can... He needs to try to save this unit, and it's just not going to happen. That was another unforced error, losing a very vital unit for Kasuga. That's 2 in a row, just like he lost those first 2 land effects and then the second 2 land effects in the last game. Adding another gateway. He's going to go up to 3 gate. Yeah, his production is not stellar. He's got the prostration stage. So that's going to finish up and provide him with... Pariahs. Okay, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. 4th gate. Crucible as well. Going to empower a lot. I don't necessarily love his SimCity. He cancels that 4th gate for an Ancestral Archives. Okay, so Kasuga's 2-base teching. He could go Mind Tyrant up Tecton. He does like that kind of build. He's enjoyed it a lot in team games for sure. We'll see if it ends up turning the tide. Right now, I'm not even sure he's going to survive long enough to make it happen. Look, the Akantor going to be firing shot after shot. There's a second one on the ramp. It's not on an attack move. Finally gets corrected, but the first one has already fallen. I think most of these units are going to get cleared, but it should be something where jakulangski has to fall back and wait for reinforcements. These units are Aziracores. They're not going to be able to punch through the limited armor and the limited units that Kasuga even has. Well, as you regress some of these battles, though, the Hydras become a lot more deadlier versus the armor. The Pariah should be enough to clear this out. I don't think that really jakulangski has much anti-armor at this point, right? I'm not talking about armor rend either. I just mean like he doesn't have Hydras, he doesn't have Zats, he doesn't have Lakids. There's not a lot of hard-hitting units in his composition right now. He needs to send a rally of Hydras out or something. He has saturated the 3rd base a little bit. Natural, yep. Main base, yep. Pretty good. Nath, of course, continuing to fly around. They can deny that 3rd base, but he's not paying attention to it. Nexus goes down immediately anyway. Pariah. Oh, man, it would have been brought down if the Akantors didn't have such great hits. Talking about almost 2k damage on that one. Nexus misplaced, but that's all right. Ancestral Archives finished. What does Kasuga want to make here? He feels like he's in a much better position. jakulangski only recently overtook him in workers, I believe. Could be wrong about that. Could get a red X reaction, if I'm wrong about that. Iris, okay, tier 2 on the way for our Zerg player. Hydra's come in and try to deny that Nexus. I don't think this is going to work out. The Zoria's not in the front line. Misposition, maybe a little bit, put the cart before the horse. And the horse is like, what do I do with this? That's not oil. Then Aths try to go after the scribe. It's a cute move. Why not? First up, Tecton on the way. No additional production out of the prostration stage. I say that the Mind Tyrant begins. So we are going to see that complexion. And this is an interesting thing, right? Like, I was not sure that the Mind Tyrant up Tecton combo, it doesn't really feel like it's that OP versus something like Terran. Versus Zerg, it might be really, really hard for the Zerg to deal with that. How do they even get access to the backline? Feels like they need tier 2 minimum. Maybe a bunch of Almaxilisks. I guess you could just go Gorgs, thinking about it. If the Protoss can invest in a lot of anti-splash, like, a crowd control rather, so splash damage, and they can have their Mind Tyrant up Tecton, it does feel like the Zerg should be able to do something about that. Map control-wise, counterattack-wise. It's kind of like when you go Mass Solarian or whatever. Like, your army is not going to be very nimble. But we'll see what he does. The Zets are not really tackling this Nexus very well. Pariah up Tecton. That's going to be more than enough to deal with this situation. The Matrix will end up falling. Some of the Zethar cores will be stolen. Now, the Hydras are going to think about pumping in from the back. This is a great opportunity for them to try to snipe the Mind Tyrant, if that's what he wants to do. He can go after that Uptecton as well. Oh, yeah, that's a dead Uptecton, surely. Oh, I don't know. He struggled on the stutter step there. Oh, no. Okay, it does end up going down. He needs to pull out of here immediately. He's already lost too many Hydras for that to be cost efficient. Dives on that Drakadin. It was a brave soul. Twice bound. See you later. You must become thrice bound. Ooh. The malefactor controlling non-stop. It's working wonders. I don't really think he's reinforced too much based on that, right? He could just use those Zerg units for a run-by or for defense. His Mine Tyrant is too far away now, actually getting slowed by everything else. Kind of funny. This does require a lot of APM to constantly move. And, you know, Jack did slow the growth of the Tecton count, right? There's only one with the army. Was there even another one? Okay, the third Tecton, but second alive, is now on the way, traipsing down the ramp. I don't know. Jack's army is a little bit too small for my liking. He's going to pick those Hydras as they turn. Yeah, it feels like he's overstaying his welcome pretty massively here. He's just trying to stall him out, though. So in that front, it is working. He's waiting for his tier 2 to pop, going for Kagrilisks, going for Almaxilisk. I think Protathalors would have been a better choice here. They obviously don't outrange the Uptecton, but it's close enough that they can try to snipe it down. You got to put through a lot of damage, though. That's 200 extra HP that it gets from being tethered to the Mine Tyrant. And now those Kagrilisks have been turned over. If you can find the Mine Tyrant, you can pick that with ease, comparatively. Stole it really real quick. All right, he's trying to bob and weave. Bisect the army. Reinforcements will have to go through this. Stolen some Zoryus. The stolen units take double damage, so it's much harder for them to really do too much. Oh no, another Tecton Mine Tyrant combo coming in from the bottom side there. Okay, Zarkava cores are being constructed. Ultra cores being constructed. That makes a lot of sense. Jakulangski gonna go after a bit of a tank and air focus. See if he can crack the shell here. The Kagrilisks go in and try to clear out some of this stuff. They're obviously just gonna get deleted, but still, get a couple of worker kills. Rest of this ground army, unlikely to find too much value. The Zarks are going to come on in and see what they can do, but there's a lot of anti-air over here. I don't know if this is a good move. At least they can't be stolen because the Tectons can't attack up, but damn, that was so fast. And those were Oxel units, so they don't turn back into Gorgs afterwards. Not that it would have made too much of a difference, I don't think, but yeah, there's just too much damage here. The Pariahs, the Drakadons. He's even got some turned Hydras still working. This feels like Jakulangski. I think he had a lot of tools at his disposal, but he decides to go for the Ultrav instead of going for the Spire, get those Protathalors out. He just has nothing here. Petered out in the tail end of it, expanded again, but didn't really have the... Yeah, he doesn't even... He spent a lot of Larva on Drolets, I guess, but he doesn't really have the tempo to do much, and he is routed. Kasuga has so much money behind this. More reinforcements occasionally being slopped down as well. A couple of Drakadons here. GG is called, and you know, Kasuga will tie it up. And now we have more exciting stuff to think about, because Kasuga can take games off of Jakulangski. That means we might see, because Jakulangski comes to battlements all the time, we could see Kasuga qualify through the gauntlet stage. Just going to throw that one out there as an option. And look, Jakulangski's portrait is red, because he is not red. GG's. We'll be back tomorrow for more Cosmonarchy. I hope you guys enjoy these casts. Remember, we got FFAs and team games coming up as well. So even if you're, more like those and less like 1v1s, listen, there's something for everybody. See you then.